Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation, Organic, Promoted, or Paid, Becoming Massively Effective with Facebook and Instagram. I'm grateful if you're here with me live, and I'm grateful if you're watching this on the replay. I want to give a very quick, big shout out to my team at Branded Strategic for helping me promote this webinar, and also my very good friends at Driscoll Foods, who are literally 4 minutes that way, which may be how you found out about this to begin with. So what are we talking about today? Okay. We will get into that, but I want to let you know there will be a Q&A at the end. So if you have questions that you want to ask, please enter them in the Q&A. Do not use the chat. It's much easier for me to monitor questions in the Q&A, but again, I will answer any of your questions that you want to ask. You're feel free to welcome to answer them as we go along. If you're watching the replay, tag me in a link or tag me in a post on Facebook, or pop it to me on YouTube, and I'm happy to answer those questions. But we will answer questions, so please pop them in as we're going along. Okay, by the end of this presentation, you're going to learn a whole bunch of stuff, but most importantly, you're going to learn the best ways of reaching local customers. You're going to learn the hurdles and how to get around them, exactly what they are. You're also going to have a strategy to maximize your effectiveness with both Facebook and Instagram, and I promise a whole lot more. Okay, who am I? Hi, most of you know me. My name is Rev Ciencio. I'm a hospitality marketing consultant. I help restaurants like you raise awareness, acquire, and retain customers through three things: digital marketing, social media, and the use of incredible software. Now, I have more than 20 years, that's 2 decades for people who do math better than I do, experience in branding, digital marketing, hospitality, and I literally have worked with hundreds of restaurants from very large chains to mom and pop shops to help them to attract and retain customers. Now, a lot of people know me as a restaurant hospitality marketing influencer, and that's because I run a couple of Instagram accounts with more than 650,000 followers total. My main account is at Rev Ciencio. You might already be following me. If not, I post marketing tips there for restaurants all the time, so give me a follow if you want more. I also used to own a bar in New York City, so I know exactly how hard it is to do this stuff. I've been on that side of the table and I've done it, okay? It is hard to brand and market a location-based business. I get it. That's why I'm here to help, okay? Today, we're here to talk about how to get more guests to learn about your business and get them through the door, right? Or to place an online order, and how to use Facebook and Instagram to do that. So one last thing, and like I said, this link is in the chat, right? So if you want to follow, I have a podcast that I co-host with inspirational thought leader and mindset coach John Shaw. He's my coach, and we do this show together. And on the Restaurant Executive Mastery podcast, you get to hear how top restaurant executives, restaurant founders, and leaders bring transformational changes to their business. We talk to C-suite executive founders of multi-unit businesses and ask them, how do you do this? Okay, the show was created to help restaurant executives really master their mindset and find inspirational ways to change their business from the top to the bottom. Okay, we give tactical solutions and examples that can help move your needle. So again, that link is rev.give/podcast. It's in the chat if you want to follow. Again, Restaurant Executive Mastery Podcast. That link is in there if you want to get into it. Let's talk. Okay. All right. Here's how this webinar is going to work. We're going to talk about 5 ways that you can use both Facebook and Instagram to maximize your reach to a local community, because that's what matters, right? People who live or work near your business, local reach. Okay. How do you reach those people who would be interested in your food and live or work near your business? We're going to get into the weeds of that in this webinar. All right. Now, you've got a couple of ways that you can do this. You can do it through organic. You can do it through a promoted post. You could do it through Ads Manager. You can use an agency, or you can use software. And what we're really talking about is maximizing your content and your reach on both Facebook and Instagram. You like my little screenshot there of all the little Facebook and Instagram apps? I think there's probably more. But anyway, we're going to take a look at the pros and the cons of each one. And after we go through the pros and the cons, I'll give you some methods on how to use each one of these. So I'm not saying any is better or better than the other, but I'm going to tell you when each one will work best for you. So let's kick it off with organic social media. What does this mean? This means the free content, the posts, the photos, the videos, the memes, the story, etc. That all users, including businesses and brands, share with each other on their Facebook and Instagram pages, right? You're probably doing this a couple times a week, if not every day, posting pictures of your specials, of your employees, of why people should order from you. What does your COVID safety procedures look like? Your food, your menu. Okay. This is organic posting, right? This is posting to Instagram and Facebook. Now, what are the pros of this? Okay. It's great because it's free, that's for sure. And you can share your business info, like your address, your phone number, your hours of operation. This is information that customers need to know when they're researching you and they're on your social media. That's the top level info they're looking at. You can build a community, right? You can build rapport with local users or people who've had an experience with your brand. You can build a following. You can share promotions. You can share menu items. You can connect with customers. Again, it's all free. Okay. That's why we all use it, because it's a great way to build that community, share, and communicate, right? Now, do you love it? Do you love social media? Do you love organic posting on Instagram and Facebook? It's really fun, right? And there's a lot of creative things you can do and a lot of great stuff you can do, but it's really hard, right? So let's talk about the cons, okay? What isn't so great about organic posting, okay? The real upside with organic posting doesn't happen until after you spent a lot of time and money doing all of these things, right? You got to build that audience, you got to build that rapport, you got to build people to want to follow you and participate. It takes a long time to build a following, and the content monster, as I like to say, is always hungry. Okay. It's hard to target an audience other than those who follow you, and regardless of how good you are or how many followers you have, Facebook and Instagram throttles your reach. Okay. If you're lucky and you're beloved and you're really good and creative and funny, you can maybe reach like 10% of your followers with your content. That means for it to be effective, right, and to have an impact, you have to have like a really big local following and really intense. Okay. And if you live in a town like me, there's only 18,000 people here. If a restaurant gets 18,000 followers and they can only reach 1,800, that's good. But what about all the rest? Okay. Plus, here's the other thing. Consumers are on social media to connect with friends and family. They're not there to check out what your special of the month is. Also, here's the thing. When people are in discovering mode, when they're online searching for their next meal, they're using discovery apps like Google My Business, Yelp. Social media happens after they've already picked a place. They don't end up on your Instagram or Facebook page until they've already found out about you from another method. Okay, so those are the pros and cons. Now, the question here is, when should you be using organic content? Okay, and this is the format we're going to use. Okay, organic social is really great. It really is. I honestly believe in it. That's clear. It's great for sharing any kind of content, especially about your food, your experience, your staff, your culture, right? Those everyday things that make up your brand identity. It's great for telling the story of your brand, right? Now, how often should you do it? Well, I would tell you at least daily if you can. Do it more if your customers don't stop following you, right? And what is your goal with it, right? You should really keep up with this, but because it's a great way to build and connect with your community. And people who follow you on social media, they're your guests. Most people aren't following a brand on social media unless they've had an experience. Nobody's following your restaurant if they haven't eaten there or plan to eat there or intend to eat there, okay? They have a brand experience. Now, that content that you're posting is there just to remind them of how much they love you. So again, you can post anything on here. You should post daily. Your goal should be to build community, and you should think about your current customers when you're posting content. It's not the right method to think about how to attract new guests, but think about the guests you've already attracted when you're building that content. All right, cool. So that's organic. Let's move on. Let's talk promoted. Now, a promoted post, right? We know what this is also called, a boosted post. It's a post to your page's timeline that you can apply money to in order to boost it to an audience of your choosing, right? And it's on both Facebook and Instagram. This is literally the simplest way to advertise on Facebook and Instagram. Boosted posts, they differ from Facebook ads though, because they're not created in ads manager and they don't have all the same customization features. So you know that little blue button, and you can see that I pushed it on this one, right? Currently promoted. That's what happens when you tap it. It's called a promoted post. Now, what are the pros of a promoted post? Okay, it's easy to use, right? It's available on Facebook. It's available on Instagram, right? You've already done the work to create the content, so that piece is out. You can target age. You can target gender. You can target some geographics and interests. There's some top level targeting you can do. It's also really helpful in actually growing your following and on these platforms, right? I use it. Look, you can tell I used it to promote this webinar. I pressed that button and put some money down. So there's some pros. There's some pros to using it. Now, let's talk about the cons, because this one does come with a downside, okay? Promoted posts are way more expensive than Facebook ads, way more expensive, okay? That's because you have limited placements, you have limited objectives, right? You can only do websites versus engagement. There's limited targeting. There's no day or week of the parting. There's no day or week parting, which basically means if you promote a post, it's going to be shown at 3 a.m. Who's searching for pizza at 3 in the morning? Maybe bad example, but if you're a breakfast or coffee place, nobody's looking for pizza or coffee at 1 in the morning. The point is, with these type of ads, you can't control when it's shown. It just fires all the time. Okay, that means you could be wasting your money. Now, you can also exhaust an audience. So if you pay to promote, pay to promote, pay to promote, you're going to exhaust that audience, and Facebook and Instagram are going to send it out to less and less people. Because if people see that ad and they don't interact and they don't like it, Facebook and Instagram is like, I'm not going to show it to them again. Okay. And the other thing too is you still have to generate the content here. So even though it's already generated, it's still part of the time. Okay. Here's the thing: promoting a post operates in a bubble. It doesn't help you to iterate your market so you can double down on what's working and stop what does not. Meaning, when you post something, you're posting it or you're promoting on a hunch. I think my customers or local customers will like this, but you actually have no idea, right? You get some feedback on that ad. Whereas if you're using an ad on Facebook, and we'll get into this, they sort of learn your audience over time. And let's say you're doing a post about ice cream and a post about chicken wings, and you really want to promote chicken wings, but ice cream is the one that's rocking, you would have no idea, right? Because you're only looking at that post in a bubble, okay? In a bubble. There's very few signals that you can get to know if the content resonated with the target. You're just promoting on a hunch with a promoted post. Okay. You're guessing what the best thing is and that you're marketing, and you don't really know what drives customers. Okay. This is why it's a spray and pray method. I'm sure you guys know what that means. But again, it's not all bad. So when should you use it? Okay. They do have a time and a place. If you have a really important initiative like an event or a limited time offer or a new store opening, etc., use ads. We'll get into that in a minute. Now, if you want just a little social proof on high performing content, or you're looking for local follower growth, it's okay to plunk down a couple dollars a few days here and there. Okay. You shouldn't be spending a lot of your budget here. This shouldn't be the majority of your advertising. This should be just sort of additive. Okay. A couple bucks here and there and really, really important stuff. Just be sure that you're keeping your targeting a little broad, right? Because if you go super, super specific, you might post and find that many people, what's going to happen, it's going to cost you a lot. If you're like, I'm only going to promote to people who like buffalo wings in a 3-mile radius. All right, if you're in Chicago or New York City or even Buffalo, that might be okay. But if you're out here in the burbs or where everybody else is, that's probably a very small audience. Facebook and Instagram is going to charge you to reach them a lot. Okay. Make sure, again, you keep that targeting a little broad. Okay. And if you have a post on organic that's bombing and you wished it did better, that is not a good time to boost it. That means that it's not resonating with your audience. Just kiss that one goodbye. Okay. And move on. If that, whatever you had in that organic post is really important, run an ad. Okay. Let's talk ads. Okay. If I asked you right now, are Facebook and Instagram ads important? Chances are you would say, yes, Rev, yes, they are. Okay. There would also likely be some hesitation in your voice because maybe you've tried them and learned that they're hard. They're like really hard. And if you don't know what you're doing, they're really easy to screw up. Okay. But you probably saw the results and you thought they were good. You just didn't know why. Okay. Here's the thing: advertising on Facebook and Instagram, it's awesome. And it's really powerful. Okay. This is an ad for a client I'm working with. Okay. What are the pros? Intense targeting, super intense targeting. You can get down to 1 mile and very specific interests. Okay. You have lots and lots and lots of objective choices. What do you want the ad to do? You can pick. Okay. You have lots of placement choices. You can go in stories and Instagram and Facebook and, different, and go in the right rail. You can go in the center rail. You can go all kinds of placement choices. It's fully trackable, right? You have behavior targeting and scheduling. Again, that means if you don't want an ad to fire at 3 a.m, don't schedule it for that. Okay. You can choose your bid type. You can choose custom lookalike audiences. So you can take your subscriber list and only advertise to them, or you can create a list that is based on a lookalike audience. So people that look like your customers, and you can target them with ads. Here's the thing: there's a lot you can do with ads. It literally opens up all the possibilities of reaching a lot of people in your area that will be interested in what you do and what you serve. Okay. Now, what are the cons? Okay. Here's the thing: creating ads and running them in ads manager is like super complicated. In fact, it's also clunky and has a hard to use interface. I ran some ads for this webinar. That might be how you found out about this. It actually took me 48 hours to get the ads live because of a stupid mistake I made on placements. I had to even call in an agency to help me. Like, what did I do wrong? Okay. even me, who kind of knows what he's doing, I'm not a novice. I'm maybe a beginner, maybe a little intermediate, but even me, I totally screwed up ads for this webinar because that's the thing. The Facebook interface for ads is really hard. Okay. It's always changing. And in fact, many people at the same time actually have a different dashboard. So when I log in and see my dashboard, it might look different in yours because they're always testing. The engineers, they're like tweaking best practices, right? And it's easy to screw these things up because of that. Let's face it. Okay. Facebook and Instagram ads might be powerful. They are, but they're really hard to do. They're easy to mess up. Okay. It's time consuming. It takes a lot of time to create ads, to analyze performance, to iterate them, to manage your ads and keep the system running. And that's why people make a career out of doing Facebook ads, because it's really, really hard. Right. So when should you be using ads? Okay. When you absolutely, positively have to reach an audience, use ads. Are you opening a new store? Do you have a new menu? Are you promoting a limited time offer? Do you have an event that's coming up? Do you need to build your email database? These are all great, great reasons to use ads. But you know when else is a great time to use ads? All of the time. Yeah. Name a day of the week where you could use more orders. Okay. I'm sure there's even a time period on Fridays and Saturdays where you are not at full capacity. Okay. That's why evergreen ads that just run in the background to promote your business to a local audience is a great idea. You can essentially automate your social media reach on Facebook and Instagram with ads. You can have it do the work for you. Okay. It's a great way to build a local audience. Okay. You can get impressions for awareness on ads for really, really, really cheap, for like 0.002 cents on awareness ads. They're super powerful. Ads are a super great way to get local reach. You program them and they do the work for you. All right, we're gonna take a sip of some bubbles here. Everybody's still on board here. I see everybody's super quiet. I hope we're taking good notes. Again, we'll do Q&A at the ad here. So I'll take a quick breath. And let's talk next. Let's talk about an agency, okay? As we've discussed, and as you already know, doing your own ads is hard, right? It's easy to make a mistake, and that's why most people don't do it, because it's confusing. Okay. They're afraid to invest. They think it's too hard. They don't take the time to learn. And when they have tried, just like I did this week, they didn't get the results they wanted. Now my ad performed, but ads are hard. Okay. This is why some people hire an agency, and agencies really honestly are great. Okay. They know what they're doing because they've done it for lots of clients. Okay. They have lots of experience. They know best practices across a plane, whether it's your type of business or a different one. They're up to date on the latest and greatest because this is what they do. This is what they're focused on. Agencies are great when you have really robust needs and when you have a complicated scenario of very intense needs. That's when agencies are great. Okay, when are they not great, or what's not great about them? Let's talk about those cons. They are really expensive, like really expensive. Now, I'm not saying the agency is not worth it. They most certainly are in the right situation, but you need to have enough budget to make sense. Okay. Here's the thing. Agencies usually have a really high setup. They have high management and high commission fees. Some agencies that I've worked with charge 25% of your ad budget in addition to setup and management fees. So you pay a setup fee, you pay a management fee, like a monthly stipend, and then whatever your budget is, 25% of it off the top goes right to them. It's a lot of money. Okay. It's really hard to make that work on a restaurant's marketing budget, and not to mention the amount of time it still takes to manage and report on them properly. It's not like it just happens in the background. You got to have meetings and content creation, right? It takes a lot of time to reach your goals. Okay. And all of this is assuming that you have a good agency. Okay. Right? It's a little bit luck of the draw out there with agencies. Lots of people claim that they can do this, right? And a lot of them can, but horror stories exist for a reason. They're real. Okay. Did you know that Facebook and Instagram agencies can carry a special insurance if they screw up your ads? It's true. If they screw up your ad, they can be protected by insurance that's built for them. That's how often it happens. Okay. There is insurance for agencies that do Facebook and Instagram advertising. But when do you use them? What is the best time to use an agency? When your needs are complex and you absolutely positively have to reach an agency or have to reach an audience, use an agency. Okay. If you have different stores in different areas with different needs, that's a great time. When you run acquisition ads that go through a messenger bot, when you need to convert from a customer lookalike audience, or you need to do pixel retargeting, right? You could do it yourself, but if you don't have the know-how or don't have an in-house person who does it, that is absolutely a good time to use an agency. Use an agency at the bottom of the funnel. Use an agency to acquire somebody to do something that you want them to do in the media. All right. Let's talk software. This is the last one on the list. Okay. Gone through all of you. I really, guys, want you to buckle in here. Okay. Here's the pros with software. It is much cheaper than an agency. Okay. The content gets created for you, so you don't have to do that. Targeting is based on your business and your objectives. The right software learns in real time from your results, and it doubles down on what's working to optimize performance. Okay. Software has a team of engineers who are always working to employ best practices learned from all of the businesses that they're working with, what they know from Facebook. Software has a much simpler interface. It has all the targeting options of Facebook and Instagram with none of the headaches that we talked about. And it really importantly reduces the time you have to spend on advertising to maybe 5 or 10 minutes at a clip. Doesn't that sound great? 5 or 10 minutes to basically automate your social media. There is a ton of pros in using software. Okay. Now, what are the cons? I have a question mark here because I'm not really sure there are any, to be honest. Okay. Truthfully, there is one software I know that's custom built for restaurants that makes Facebook and Instagram ads really, really easy. Okay. As of today, with that company, they're called Targetable. They do not have custom audiences or pixel retargeting. So if you need that, again, I would tell you to use an agency. Okay. And here's the other thing, Targetable, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a second. They don't have all of the available objectives that Facebook offers, but these things are being developed in the tool and they're coming. So there are some cons today, but over time there won't be. So what's that software again? It's called Targetable. Okay. I love Targetable. If you don't want to figure out how to use Facebook Ads Manager, if you don't want to spend a ton of time managing and tweaking your ads and maybe screwing them up, if you don't want to spend thousands of dollars on an agency, I recommend checking out Targetable. Okay. They make Facebook and Instagram ads really, really, really easy, like push button easy. Okay. You open up your dashboard and all the ads are created. You could just like tweak the hours of the day, maybe switch a hashtag out. If you don't like a photo, you just switch it. Right. And then you just press go. I know people who are using it that spend 5 minutes getting their ads live. Okay. If you need a really robust strategy, don't have the time to run ads for yourself, and don't have a dedicated person who can, again, I suggest you use an agency, and I would be happy to introduce you to agencies that I know do great work. I'm happy to introduce you. Just ask me. Okay. But if you can get by on a couple of local awareness ads a month, spending just an hour here or there, setting up ads and looking at performance, on a $10 a day advertising budget, check out Targetable. It's super powerful. I am more than happy to make an introduction to you guys, to the people at Targetable, so that you can ask them questions and learn more. Okay. And here's the thing. I use it myself. Okay. Targetable is custom built for restaurants. Okay. It's not built for agencies or what I do like a consultant. It is built for you. Okay. But it's so easy to use that even I have tested it out and it works wonderfully. They generate the ads for you. You just go in and do a couple of tweaks. You press the button and it's super easy. It's almost brainless. Okay. So those are the 5 methods. Here's the thing. Targetable is great. When should you use it? It's cheap. It's easy. It does the work for you. There are no hunches. Okay. It learns over time what is best for your business, and it optimizes as you go along. Okay. You can make small tweaks again, like changing a hashtag, turn off an ad so they don't run at 3 a.m, swap out an image if you want. You can run new local awareness ads weekly and only spend 5 or 10 minutes a week doing it. That sounds great to me. Okay. It makes all of this easy and it automates your social media marketing in a local area. So when should you use it? Honestly, turn it on, use it all the time. Targetable is super powerful. Okay. As you guys know, as always, when every one of my webinars and pieces of content and when I'm live, I believe in tech. Okay. Tech that accelerates your business, that helps your success. And that's why I only talk about the ones that work. With this webinar, right, or any other pieces of content I put there, if you see something you're interested in, please let me know. Okay. Ask me about that software. Ask me about Targetable. You can do it in the Facebook group that we'll talk about in a second. I will answer any question you have. Okay. And if you specifically want to learn more about Targetable and how that can make local awareness ads on Facebook and Instagram easy, just ask me. I will personally make a direct introduction for them so that you're at the front of the line in getting a demo and learning more. Now, and if I've emailed you about this very webinar, just reply one of those emails. You want to talk to me? I emailed you about this, right? Just reply. You either got a confirmation email or whatever, just reply or go into chat. Just reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to you about it. Okay. I hope you found this super helpful. Did you? I know you did. You can comment. Okay. I'm sure though you have some questions. So please, we're going to get into Q&A here. Again, please don't use the chat. If you have questions, please go into Q&A and ask me. I covered a lot of ground here in 25 minutes. So I know you have Q&A. Okay. Here's the thing. Enter them in the Q&A chat. We'll get into those. I'll answer everything that I possibly can. Okay. And while you're entering those questions into the Q&A later today, once I get a video of this uploaded to the internets, I'm going to send you an email so you can watch the replay. Because again, I know I went super fast and there's a lot here. Okay. That replay is going to happen in a private Facebook group. I'm not putting this one public. Okay. So what you need to do is be a part of that private Facebook group. Okay. And I already sent you an invite earlier today in one of the Zoom invites, and I'll send you another later today. It's a private Facebook group called Restaurant Marketing Mastery. There's a link to it in the chat. Okay. If you want to go to the chat, you can pop that link and you can join it right now. Okay. This is, again, that's where the replay happens. But here's the thing. There's no paywall. It's just free to join. Okay. In this group, that's where I share insights and content that can help you master your business. That's where this replay will be, and you can have access to it all the time. There's also other people just like you in the group that you can network with and answer questions. It's a great place to network and answer questions. Okay. All right. So we're going to roll through some questions now. Let's get into the Q&A. Let me get a sip of water here. I'm very thirsty because I talk a heck of a lot on these things. If you have questions, again, pop them in the Q&A. I'll stay online here as long as there's question to answer. Okay. Kathy is asking, what is the cost of the Targetable software one-time monthly? That's a great question, Kathy. So Targetable is a month-to-month fee. Okay. So if you use it for a month and it doesn't work, you just turn it off. It's fine. All right. It's super easy to use, and it's $150. It couldn't be easier. You're going to save so much time. It's going to be so much effort. Think about if you were an hourly employee of your company. What do you pay a dishwasher? $15, $16, $10 for $150. The amount of efficiency you get for that, it's ridiculously cheap. So it's $150, and then you put your advertising budget on top. So most restaurants, I know most local restaurants are doing, something like $10 a day, right? So it's $300 a month plus Targetable is $450. And if you're looking at $450 as a lot of money, you're in the wrong place. I don't think that's you guys. I definitely don't think that's you, Kathy. $450 is nothing. Think about the time that it would save you to reach a local audience and you've automated the process. So again, $150 month-to-month contract. It's not even really contract, it's an agreement. And then whatever ads budget you want to put in there. So thank you for asking that. That is a great question, Kathy. Okay. Alan, my buddy, always great to have you in here. Thank you so much. What is the best call to action that I use? Well, it depends. What I use is different than what I would tell you to use. And assuming you want to drive orders, right? So you're posting pictures of those awesome burgers at AJ's Burgers or that lobster roll that my wife loves. Call to action should be on Instagram, link in bio to order, or on Facebook, put the link there that you want them to take. My best call to actions are telling people exactly what the next step is, like join my Facebook group or follow my podcast. Here's the link. Complete the action for the customer. That's what you want to do, just like I have today. It's a great question, Alan. Thank you for asking. Alan, more questions. You want to collect phone numbers. What is the best way to get them? So that's a lot harder. Okay. That's a lot harder. You might want to look into an agency for that. Okay. That's going to cost you a pretty penny. Acquisition is hard on Facebook. What you can do if you want, though, you can use Targetable. You can set up a landing page where you want to get people's information, and you can set up a landing page and do ads on Targetable that send people to that landing page. That you can do pretty cheaply. You might get some, you might not get some. It's going to take a while for Instagram and Facebook to optimize that, but that is a great way to do it. And Alan, I know you're asking these questions because you use Targetable and you love it, and you're asking for better ways to use it. So I appreciate that. Another question here is the $10 a day different on ads longer or scheduled for current ads? So here's my recommendation. If you're doing advertising on Instagram and Facebook, and it doesn't matter if you're using Ads Manager or Targetable, $10 a day is a good spend. You can go higher, you could go lower, but $10 on average is a good spend to do. And I typically tell restaurants, don't let your ads run longer than 2 weeks. Okay. A week is the right amount of period. You can let an ad run for 7 days. Cause here's the thing, assuming you live in a small area, right? Or you're advertising to a small area, like a 1 or 2 mile radius which is what I would recommend. The frequency that people are going to see those ads, you don't want to tire them out. You just want to stay top of mind. You just want to have awareness. Okay. And so if they see the same ad over and over, think about it. How many times you're watching TV and you're like, there's another ad for, where there's the gecko. Do I need to see the gecko again? Or do I need another one with the dog and the chalupa? Like, you don't want to do that to people. 2 weeks should be your maximum for an ad if your frequency is at 1, right? Meaning how many times a day they're seeing it. But I would say every 7 days, new ad. And if you're using Targetable, that's super easy to do. It publishes all the ads for you. So that's a great question. And it looks like we don't have a ton of other questions. Guys, I'll hang in here for one more minute. If you have any other questions, like who else in here? Alan, Dave, Eric, what's up, buddy? Eric's a good agency to talk to if you're looking for some acquisition. Eric's a good one to talk to. Felix, Jamie, John's in here. Oh, what's up, Jonathan? Kathy, Lydia, Mark. Hey, what's up, Mark? Glad you're here. Rachel, Ryan, Sabrina, Sarah, glad you're here too as well. We have to talk about some advertising. You and I are having this exact conversation right now, Stephanie. All right, guys, if there's no more questions, I really appreciate it. Again, you get an email later today with a link to the Facebook group. Join the Facebook group. It's free. You can watch the replay of this webinar and any other webinar. You can network with other operators and agencies. You can get suggestions. I share a lot of tips in there. If you want to learn more about thinking higher and mindset, listen to the podcast. There's lots of great things you can do. And there is one more thing that we should talk about. Okay. If you liked this webinar, okay, if you really like this webinar and you want to take it to the next level, join me in 2 weeks. Okay. In 2 weeks, you're going to get a webinar that you're absolutely going to love. It's called Winning Instagram, 5 Moves to Master Your A Game. Okay. Register for this webinar. You're going to learn 3 really important things: how to grow your local following, how to create more loyal guests, and how to turn your social media into an ordering hotline. Okay. The link is rev.gives/winning Instagram. It's in the chat. Okay. It's in the chat. So if you go over to the chat, you can see that. I'll scroll up to the top. There's a Winning Instagram. I'll put it back in here. Winning Instagram. Join this webinar. We're going to take everything you learned today. We're going to actually go deeper. Okay. If you're watching the replay, I'll put the link in here as well so you can do it. Here's the thing, guys. Okay. Make sure you join the Facebook group because you're going to watch the replay of this. Make sure that you sign up for this webinar in 2 weeks called Winning Instagram. And the last thing is, if you have questions about Targetable, you can ask them directly to me. Either reply to one of the emails from this webinar. If you're in the group already, you can ask in the group. If you want to DM, I don't care how you get in contact with me, but ask me questions about Targetable. I'm telling you, really, guys, you're going to like this. All right. There's no more questions, but it doesn't look like they are. I want to thank you so much today for watching this. I want to thank you for registering and joining. Guys, I hope you learned a whole lot. There's really great ways to be effective, and you can automate most of them. All right. Make it a great, tasty day.